Let's walk through key risk management and recovery metrics you'll need to recognize for the Security Plus exam. These concepts show up heavily in scenario-based questions, where you're expected to quickly interpret what the business is asking for and match it to the correct metric. The key is not memorizing definitions, but recognizing patterns in how the question is written. We'll start with some of the most commonly confused concepts, because this is exactly where exam questions try to trip you up. If a scenario describes how long a system can be down before it must be restored, you are dealing with a recovery time objective, or RTO. Recovery time. Objective defines acceptable downtime. If the question mentions restoring operations within a certain number of hours, that is your signal for RTO. A common trap is confusing this with data loss, but RTO is about time, not data. Now, if the scenario shifts and focuses on how much data the business can afford to lose, you are looking at a recovery point objective, or RPO. Recovery point objective defines acceptable data loss, often tied to how frequently backups occur. If a question mentions losing the last 15 minutes or last hour of transactions, that is RPO. This is one of the most tested comparisons, so remember the pattern clearly. RTO is time, RPO is data. Now let's go deeper, because this is where questions become more layered. If the scenario describes the absolute limit where the business would suffer catastrophic failure if systems are not restored, that is maximum tolerable downtime, or MTD. Maximum tolerable downtime is not a target like RTO, it is a breaking point. If the system stays down too long, the business cannot survive. A common trap is confusing it with RTO, but the difference is critical. RTO is the goal for recovery, while MTD is the maximum limit before failure. Shifting focus to system performance and reliability, if a question talks about the average time it takes to fix a system after it fails, you are dealing with mean time to repair, or MTTR. Mean time to repair measures how long it takes to restore functionality after a failure occurs. If instead the question focuses on how long a system typically runs before it fails, that is, mean time between failures, or MTBF. Mean time between failures is a measure of reliability, not repair. This is another common confusion point. MTTR is about fixing, MTBF is about lasting. Now let's connect these metrics back to business priorities, because that is often how the exam frames these questions. If the scenario describes analyzing which systems are most critical, determining financial impact, or prioritizing recovery based on business needs, you are looking at a business impact analysis, or BIA. A business impact analysis identifies what matters most to the organization and helps guide recovery planning. It is often confused with a risk assessment, but the difference is that BIA focuses specifically on business impact, not overall risk probability. Now let's bring this together into quick recognition patterns you can use during the exam. If the question mentions acceptable downtime, think recovery time objective. If it mentions acceptable data loss, think recovery point objective. If it describes the point where the business fails, think maximum tolerable downtime. If it talks about how long it takes to fix something, think mean time to repair. If it focuses on how long systems run before breaking, think mean time between failures. And if it emphasizes business priorities and critical functions, think business impact analysis. The most important takeaway is to separate time, data, and business impact in your mind. Recovery time. Objective is about time. Recovery point objective is about data. Maximum tolerable downtime is about survival. Mean time to repair and mean time between failures are about performance and reliability. And business impact analysis is about what matters most to the business. If you can recognize those patterns and watch for common traps, you'll be able to quickly eliminate incorrect answers and confidently choose the right one.